Able to see him. Here's the pass. Oh, what a catch! Leaping into the air and pulling it down is T. Higgins. Burrow facing pressure. Goes over the top. Wide open is Chase. And he splits the defenders for the touchdown. The Cincinnati Kid. Hubbard's got a convoy. Chased by Andrews. At the 30, the 20, he will score.
Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Mon. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. It's a good night, Mon. It's a good night. Two things that we know for sure. Jamar Chase is always open, and Joe Burrow looks a lot healthier, Mon. What'd you think? What are your first thoughts about the game right now?
I'm glad we won. Most important thing, we had to go 2-3. This game was a must-win. The offense was more balanced: 36 pass attempts to 30 rush attempts. I understand the rushing numbers weren't, gaudy or that wow factor, but still having that balance was huge. It was great to see Joe moving around. He looked a lot healthier. Look out, guys! That's the Bengals offense we wanted to see, and I'm glad the defense finally made some big plays because they gave up some chunk plays, unfortunately. But it's a work in progress there also. But good win.
Good win, and I think something that we've talked about is if the Bengals if they can get this win next week, be 3-3 at the bye, and reset this season because they have a brutal 4-game stretch coming out of that bye week, Mon. We were talking about it off air with our buddy Justin. If this team can get to 3-3 and steal a couple games in that 4-game stretch, because remember last year they said the same thing about us, right? That it's murderous row and the Bengals ran off 10 games. I'm not saying they can do that again, but if Joe Burrow plays like he did today and that health keeps getting better, this offense looks totally different when Joe Burrow is moving around a little bit.
Yeah, it was refreshing to see him run. He scrambled once for a first down. That was great. Gave the first down signal. Definitely, definitely see an improvement. He's not 100%. I don't think he was as mobile as the Joe from last year or the year before, but it was refreshing to see. I love the fact that Chase got involved, had that 15 receptions, set the team record. He was getting frustrated. That's something he needed. I really wanted that Boyd touchdown to count because I want him active. He's been such a solid Bengal for years. Want him to get involved. Offensive line played a lot better in the second half. I was really disappointed with the play of the interior offensive line in the first half. They're not getting the job done, but apparently the words at halftime helped tremendously. They played a lot better. And it was a good team win. And we said it last week. The Cardinals are a feisty bunch. You could have made an argument they should be 3-1 going into this game. They beat the Cowboys. They played the 49ers really tough last week. They lost some heartbreakers early in the season. That's a feisty team. They got a lot of good skill players. Good win. I'll take it 1 week at a time. On to Seattle.
On to Seattle, Mon. Let's look at these stats from this game. And, I think something that we saw today that we were used to seeing these last 2 years is when this offense is rolling, the defense kind of feeds off of it, right? And we saw the defense come up with some big plays. Trey Hendrickson, once again, makes big plays, kind of takes over the game after the Bengals get that lead. Joe Burrow, 36 of 46, 317 through the air. Still not a big number when you talk about yards per attempt. He was a little bit more than average. Today he was about 7 yards an attempt, 3 touchdowns. He had the one interception. The one interception, obviously, you could argue that Trent Irwin was maybe grabbed or maybe there was some contact downfield that shouldn't have happened. But either way, not really interception on Joe Burrow. I don't think you can really say that was his fault. He was sacked 3 times, and like you said, that the first half of that game, the offensive line did not play that great. Obviously, we get down into the red zone there. We don't score. thank God the Cardinals decided to throw the football, and Cam Taylor-Britt made a great play for that pick six. Joe Mixon, 25 carries for 81 yards. Again, only 3 yards a carry, Mon, but it's more of the number of carries, right? 25 carries today. And again, there's got to be some kind of stat. When the Bengals run the ball more than 25 times, the winning percentage probably jumps up incredibly. So Joe Mixon carries it 25 times for 81 yards. Jamar Chase, you said it, record-breaking day. I loved how he gave the ball to his dad, Jimmy. You saw that on TV for that record-breaking catch. But 15 receptions. He breaks the all-time Bengal record for most receptions in a game. 192 yards, 3 touchdowns. But, more importantly than anything, we saw the explosive play. Finally, the big chunk play, a 63-yard touchdown pass to Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow looked like his old self, moving around, stepping up into the pocket, and making just an incredible throw downfield to Jamar. Trent Irwin. I want to give a shout out to Trent Irwin. 8 catches, only 60 yards, Mom, but those were very important yards by Trent Irwin. He made some big catches, especially early on in the game. Josephus got his first reception as a Bengal, as did Kwame Lassiter, his first NFL reception. So Joe moving the ball around a little bit. You like to see that, especially with T. Higgins not playing today. And then we look at the defensive side of the ball. The defense struggled at times, but again, once the offense got the lead, the defense just took over the game. Trey Hendrickson with 2.5 sacks today. Dax Hill, he played another great game, but like our buddy Justin said, Cam Taylor-Britt today, he struggled last week. Today, to me, I agree with our buddy Justin. He was the defensive player of the game. He played his ass off today.
Yeah, after getting stuffed 4th and 1, that could have been a catastrophic sequence for the Bengals, but for him to get that pick six at that, it sort of washed it out. Let me read some stats for you right here. Bengals 27 first downs. Cardinals only had 15. This is the big one to me. 38 minutes time of possession to 21 for the Cardinals.
Right.
What has happened to the Bengals this year? Browns, Ravens, Titans. It was the other way around. Here's one that I love absolutely. I don't know if you already said this, Jake. I'm sorry. 79 plays for the Bengals offense.
It,
Did you?
No, I did not.
79 plays for the Bengals
Big.
Offense, only 57
Big.
for the Cardinals. That's how you win football games.
Absolutely.
That's why you run the ball 30 times in a game. I understand the stats don't look sexy, but Joe Mixon got most of his rushing yards in the second half. The Bengals did as a team. Offensive line played so much better in the second half. They were getting stuffed early on. Joe was sacked a lot. I don't know if he was sacked in the second half at all. I could be wrong on that. I don't think he was. But still, that time of possession, the plays, that's how you win football games. I understand the Bengals are a pass-first team. You got to be with Joe Burrow and all those weapons, but you got to have a little more balance. You can't have 15 rush attempts a game. I love it. Good win. Let's build on it.
Well, I think another big stat here, when we look at the Bengals defense, last week the 2 leading tacklers were the safeties, right? This week, the 2 leading tacklers, Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson. Jermaine Pratt with 10 total tackles, had the big interception at the end there. Logan Wilson with 9 total tackles. When your linebackers are your leading tacklers, good things are going to happen.
They made big plays. The pick six, the other interceptions, the sacks. Trey Hendrickson is playing his tail off. There's communication issues. They're giving up those chunk plays. We knew it was going to happen. We talked about that before the season started. More experienced DJ Turner, Dax Hill, Nick Scott, all these guys get the better they're going to get. DJ Turner is a keeper. He's a solid player. And great win, guys. Great win. Let's go 3-3 at the bye.
Well, and again, too, I do want to talk about the play of these young guys, right? You have DJ Turner that has to step in today. Cheeto, a last-minute inactive, which, for most teams, when your number one shutdown corner, is inactive, it's tough to replace that. We saw the Bengals do it last year. DJ Turner played a great game today, Mon. He was all over the field. He had some big tackles, came up in the run game, made some big plays in the run game. Again, we talked about Cam Taylor-Britt earlier, Shivas. You have a lot of these young guys, Mon, that are starting to step up and play meaningful football for this Bengals team. And you love to see that, right? You love to see that production. Irv Smith, I'm not sure. I have to go back and watch the film. It looked like he didn't do a bad job in the run game, blocking wise. Obviously, the holding call against him in the end zone was a huge play. But again, we're still not seeing the production from that position that I think you would like to see. But hopefully, T is back next week healthy, and this Bengals offense gets back to rolling like we're used to seeing it.
Yeah, one thing about DJ Turner, you notice he injured his finger. It looked a little deformed there, and the coaching staff was going to pop it back in place. He came back in and played. That's a tough guy. Really feisty. He's turning into my favorite draft pick. He's a keeper. Just got to keep him healthy. I think he's going to have a very, very bright future. Cam Taylor-Britt, as Justin said, the player of the game for the Bengals. After what happened last week arguably one of his worst games as a pro, for him the rebound that shows he's got it. He's got that, he's got it. He understands, hey, I got to just play better. Let's bury that game and move on. And he responded.
And again, I talked about Trent Irwin on offense, his 8 receptions for 60 yards, a big contributor today on offense. He steps in for Chucky Sizzle, has four punt returns for 70 yards. That's pretty damn good. Yeah. That's a 17-yard average. Again, Trent Irwin making some big-time contributions to this football team, which is a very good sign for this team down the road. You love to see that. And I do want to give a shout-out, again, for the second week in a row, Brad Robbins, the rookie punter. He has a 59-yarder today. He punted the ball well. Once again, average was right around 50 yards today on 3 punts. Again, these young guys starting to step up and really contribute to this team.
Yeah, he's picked it up the last 2 weeks. He had a 62-yarder last week. And
you like that?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Okay. And no, he had 3 kicks for the 52-yard average. Good for him today. He's definitely settling in and getting more confidence. Great to see the young guys get more experience. The more experience they get, the better they're going to get, and that's going to make the Cincinnati Bengals better. Obviously, I'm Mr. Captain Obvious now, but let's move on to Seattle. I want to get to 3-3. I don't know. So I can't wait.
Well, again, the NFC West right now coming in at a good time. Obviously, coming back out of the bye, you got to go to San Francisco and play. That is tough. But you got the Seahawks rolling in. They're a tough football team. Again, if the Bengals can go 3-3, they're in very good shape. I do want to talk about. We heard a great story at
the Ravens. Want to talk about the Ravens?
No, I don't want to talk about the Ravens yet, but we will get to that. We will get to that because I'm pretty sure.
I just remembered the Ravens loss, and that's why I started laughing. I'm like, we got to talk. Hey, Aaron, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? We're going to see you soon. Good.
No, but I do want to talk about that story at the end of the game that we saw with Kwame Lassiter, right? His dad, an ex-Arizona Cardinal. I love to see that story. And again, I think it's huge that this coaching staff understands the importance of those things. Kwame Lassiter goes out. They bring him up from into the 53. They make him active. They let him go away. They let him go out for the coin toss as a captain, and then they get him in at the end there and get him his first NFL reception. Those kind of things go a long way. His father passing away a couple years ago, but those kind of things go a long way with this locker room, and I think that's why you hear so many positives coming from the Bengals locker room and how Zach Taylor really has his fingers on the pulse of this locker room.
Yeah, that was great. And I agree. I love how they're dialed in. It made me think of Mitch Wilcox last year in the game in Tampa. He's a Tampa native, and they got him in at the end. He scored a touchdown. I love that. I didn't like that some of the Cardinal fans were booing because they threw a pass with 30 seconds left. They didn't connect the dots. They don't know. I'm sure they'll read about it tomorrow. But it was great to see that, and I just love that symbolism. That was nice.
It was. It was. So let's talk about right now the AFC and how today went. Really a great day for the Bengals. Uh, besides the Chiefs winning, which by the way, I know they make fun. I know they make fun with these commercials about the NFL being what do they say? It's
Rigged.
well, I don't know. I don't know if they use that word, but
Their marketing.
if you watch the end of that Kansas City Chief game, they take the pass interference off the board. The Chiefs player takes his helmet off. Snead takes his helmet off. The referee is seen saying to Snead, "Put your helmet back on." I mean, you again. I'm not. I don't want to be one of those. Like, I'm not trying to make controversy or anything like that. But this Chiefs team is they're either the luckiest team in the history of the NFL, or they are in somebody's pocket, because that is the most ridiculous ending to a game. If I were a Vikings fan, Mon, I would be so pissed right now about the way that game ended.
Yeah, I mean, but they did explain it. It would have been a 15-yard penalty. It still would have been the.
They didn't even call it though.
No,
they didn't call it.
Yeah, but it would have been. It still would have been the Chiefs' ball. It wouldn't have been an automatic first down.
Yes,
but yeah, I get it. I understand the frustration, but a lot of good things did happen for the Bengals today. The Texans losing is big.
Yes.
Wild card. We're looking ahead here. The Titans losing actually is big.
Yes,
because we lost the head-to-head. We need them to lose. And of course, we got to talk about the Ravens.
Let's talk about the Ravens game. Let's talk about how. Again, I say this: we lost to them, and I think when the 1:00 games were going on, I think I was blowing your phone up just talking about how embarrassing it is that we lost to the Ravens and the Titans. Those two teams absolutely are awful. I still cannot believe we lost to those two teams, but it is what it is. We got to move on from that. But the Baltimore Ravens today looked like they did not even belong in the NFL. That was one of the hardest games to watch, Mom, because you're looking at two teams that – I don't know. This division right now is still up for grabs. I guess that's what my point is, because you're talking about teams now
That's fair.
that this Bengals football team has got to get this thing turned around quick, because they easily could run away with this division. The Steelers' offense is atrocious. The Ravens' offense is atrocious. This Bengals team has got to turn it around very quickly.
The Ravens game was fun to watch. I'm going to disagree. I don't think they're terrible.
They are.
But there's something about matchups with the Steelers. You know how the Browns always have our number? The Steelers really play them tough. The Steelers beat them in prime time last year in Baltimore. So there's something about these teams, the way they play each other, and Pittsburgh's defense just gives them fits. I will say this. I was jealous. I was upset because the Steelers blitzed Lamar Jackson. They put a lot of heat on him instead of trying to contain him like the Bengals did a few weeks ago. And he was scrambling. He was running around. He did not look comfortable. Good win for the Steelers. It helps us. Bengals only one game back. This division is wide open. Yes. It was a great week for the Bengals.
And what about the Jaguars winning? We haven't even talked about that,
was
right?
Huge also. And,
I mean, Josh Allen looking like his old self, just playing reckless football, throwing balls up for grabs.
A lot of injuries with the Bills too. Matt Milano.
I hate to see that.
He's a good player, and he was carted off, and they lost Davis or Ward. Tre'Davious Ward, is that what it is?
Tre'Davious White.
They lost him last week, so some injuries there. But the Bills lost today, not the players, the team. That's big for the Bengals, and we got a long way to go, guys. Long way to go.
Well, right now you have, when you look at the AFC, you have a lot of 3-2 teams. You have a lot of 2 and 3 teams. You only have one team 4-1, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Right? Everybody else is right there, all muddled up. The Bengals have got to start stringing some AFC wins together. I'm enjoying these NFC wins, but the Bengals have got to start stringing some AFC wins, and it comes right out of the break. Right, we play the 49ers. And then you have the Buffalo Bills on primetime. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens mixed in there with the Texans. So you have 3 out of the next 4 games coming out of the bye, all AFC teams. The Bengals have got to make a good string of wins together right in that muddle. And you said off air, 3 of those 4 games are home games for the Bengals.
Well, we have 12 games remaining for the season. 7 of the 12 are at home. We have to protect our house.
Yes.
We have to win at Paycor.
Yes.
And 7 of our next 12 being at home is a good sign, good thing. We do have to get these AFC victories. A lot of football. Football is crazy. It's so unpredictable. And, I'm glad, we get emotional at times. We get worked up. We're upset our team loses. I'm speaking for myself also. I need to take a step back. We all need to step back and just relax sometimes. It's hard to do it in the moment. I was really upset after the Titan game. Jake was. A lot of fans were. It was a bump. And we got 12 games to go. Let's take one of those games at a time. Let's win in Seattle. Get Joe healthier. Go out. We have to steal a couple games. San Francisco. I had that as a loss this year. That's a game that we could potentially steal, but we'll see. Let's just go one game at a time. I'm not jumping ahead like I did last week.
Well, that Seattle game is actually in Paycor, so that's a good thing. We don't have to go out to Seattle.
It's one of those 7 games,
right? And play out in a tough place to win in Seattle. Before we get out of here, I do want to touch on this. Eric brought it up. I think all in all, the whole thing was just a great sign, right? Today, we saw a lot of great things. We saw Jamar Chase totally involved in this offense. We saw the Bengals run the ball almost 30 times. Actually, I think they did run it 30 times. We saw Joe Burrow scramble and get a first down. Huge. But I think of all of that, seeing Joe Burrow under center those last couple plays is a very good sign for this offense. Because if he can get under center and start running some play action, this offense completely opens up. And that is all good signs today. I mean, it's a very positive day for us Bengal fans and for this football team. And like you said, seven of those last 12 at home. If the Bengals can run that table, they're going to be in very good shape.
Yeah. I'm just excited about today's win.
It was a good win.
We needed that. We needed to see the offense do what they did last year and the year before. Much needed confidence boost for the team. Those young players on defense getting more reps. They got some rest today, which is good. Yeah. We just got to keep on. Seattle's a tough team. We got to go in and protect Paycor, represent at Paycor. If we play like we did today, we're going to be all right. Exciting win, man. Great win. And let's go have some ice cream.
Yes. Let me say this too. Mon, you dropped the ball on this. A shout out to Heather and Olivia Abelhassens. They are my 2 favorite Abelhassens. Your daughter Olivia, your wife Heather, they ran out to get us a celebratory ice cream cake because you dropped the ball, Mon. So shout out to Olivia and Heather. You guys are definitely my favorite of the Abelhassens.
When the Bengals win, we all win. I was going to make everybody pay because we didn't win last week. Nobody's getting ice cream.
Hey, listen, real quick, before we get out of here, the biggest play of today, Mon, what was it?
The pick 6 by Cam Taylor-Britt.
I'm going to go with the 4th down stop by our defense.
That was good.
Up 24-20. We didn't even talk about that 4th down stop. That was huge. Yeah. I think that was really the nail in the coffin of this game. All right, guys, that's another edition of the Bengals Pulse. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. If you like this podcast, make sure you give Mon and I that 5-star review. We would very much appreciate that. As always, follow him at The Fire Mon on Twitter. Follow me at Coach Jake Owens 9 on Twitter. Follow Eric at eFlash with 2 H's 88 on Twitter. And follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at Bengals_Pulse9. On Instagram, the same without the at Bengals_Pulse9. And as always, check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Wincinnati Podcast Network. He is Mon. I am Jake. Hoo-day, Bengal fans. We will see you on Friday.